Here's the little, well actually it's not so little, sort of medium-sized Fokker Eindecker. He had a brushless motor in him when I got him. He wouldn't even take off with it. He had a NIMH battery, 7-cell NIMH battery, glued into him. I had to hack it out, powering a brushless motor that I couldn't get to even drag him across the ground. So I've put a little, Park 300 motor on there, brushless ESC and a Park 300 motor on him. And he's flown a good many times. He's very much a sort of drifty, slow flyer. Don't want much wind. You can fly him in a little bit of wind, but you don't want much wind for him. He's got a very cutely painted pilot in there, though he seems to be giving us the odd side eye there, but with his spiky helmet and everything. I don't think they actually wore spiky helmets in aeroplanes, did they? But who knows? Anyway, this was, I bought it, this was another one I bought on consignment from, just repaired one of the wheels on him. Bought on consignment from Flite Craft. It was hanging up behind their counter for a good while, and I finally took the plunge on it, and as I say, I did have to put a new power system on it, but still it's kind of pretty and fun. Had an FM receiver in it as well, of course, which I took out, and I put in a Lemon DSMX receiver. That's what the little pin on the top of the tail there was to retain the long wire antenna for the FM receiver originally. Okay, well, let's see if we can have a little flight with this guy now. Famous last one. Now his wheels are sort of embedded. His wheels are just sort of embedded in the grass there. He needs a push. He does need a push. There, go on. Oh, for goodness sake. Famous last words. I've flown this guy lots of times. The wheels are turning freely. I don't know why he is not going. Go on. That is weird unless there's something wrong with the battery. Unless the battery is not providing enough power. But it should be charged. Not a lot of power there, but I mean, you would have thought. Whoa. Well, we got him to lumber into the air. I do wonder if that battery might be a bit deficient. I mean, he never does have much power, but he seems to have even less power than normal now. And that's the brushless motor. And so that's a Park 300. I've got a little 2-cell Wild Scorpion in there, sorry. I'm sorry, I had to be out there because I was trying to push him, and I'm just trying to walk back to the flight line now. To give him a push because he wouldn't go. I don't know whether the grass is longer than usual or his motor's weaker than usual or what, because I've taken him off the grass lots of times. It's kind of wet today, but often is in the morning. And I just repaired one of his wheels to make it turn better. He's 3-channel again, of course, as you saw, no ailerons or whatever. Just a rudder, and that's the tiniest little bit of wind we got now is making him jerk around a bit because he's almost like a, well, you know, sort of ambient kite. I mean, he's...
Time remaining, 4 minutes.
I've flown him in more wind than this, but then he seemed to have more power at one point, as I say. I do wonder if I'm a bit dubious about that battery, because he really seems to have very little power. Mind you, I'm not flying him at full throttle now, whatever. I'm flying him at about half throttle at the moment, and Well, I mean, he's a big drifter, you know. He's got a big wing, so he almost glides. Well, in fact, he probably would glide up to a point. He's certainly not meant to be a glider, but... oh, well. Obviously, I mean... his point... this was a kit made by... I've got a box for it at home somewhere. I didn't build it, but it came with the box and everything. It's a kit made by some European company. Well, I'll say kit, I don't know how much assembly was required. It says it's a kit on the box.
Time remaining, 3 minutes.
I think for one thing, I mean, I don't know whether it came with a power system, who knows? And they call it, it says, radio-controlled slow flyer, and they're certainly right about that. But how they ever got it to fly at all with that original brushless power system, I don't know. But as you can see, it's pretty marginal, even with this brush system I put in it. I suppose I could have put a slightly more powerful brush system in it. Wouldn't hurt to have a little bit more power than this. Don't want lots of power with this. His wings aren't even held on by anything. His wing, well, I mean, obviously they're not falling off, but I mean, they just have, each ring has 2 carbon fiber rods in it, and they just push into holes in the fuselage, but they just push in. There's no clips or anything. Yeah, I suppose with the old slow sticks and things, that wasn't an uncommon sort of arrangement. There's just like little tubes in the fuselage, and the carbon fiber rods in the wings push into those tubes. And then they're not going to fall out while he's flying.
2 minutes.
Not while he's flying like this, anyway. Anyway, his whole point is just to go in the air and be seen, more or less, I think. Get even a little bit of wind and he's rather a handful, because, you know, he's got such big surfaces and so little power that the wind really gets him. I'm going to try and come in for a landing now. Oops-a-daisy, let's try and not slip sideways too much. Going a little bit far down there, but there you go. One thing about him, he's so floaty, he does land quite nicely.
Throttle cut on.
There you go. We're certainly not going to try and taxi him in. I do not think he would move particularly. Oh, I really don't think... I mean, it would be nice if he had a bit more power, but I don't think I've got the energy to take the motor out and try and put a different motor in. I mean, it would be a possibility. It's just sort of stuck on the front there. I think he had a geared brushed motor, which is like, and a bigger propeller. When I got him, I couldn't get him to fly at all, and the brush motor actually sat inside that cowling with just the shaft sticking out. But I couldn't see. The only way I could really see to mount the brushless motor was to use the little brushless motor sticking out the front of the cowling there, and it's got a prop safe on, as you can see, in case I knock it on the ground. Although he's got a fair amount of ground clearance, unlike some planes that I have. You know, the propeller is not going anywhere near the ground with him, so he shouldn't, unless you do something really weird, he shouldn't really need a prop saver. Anyway, there you go. The Fokker Eindecker. I don't remember who made him. Definitely not GWS, some sort of European company, but anyway. There's the inside of that guy. He had in his nickel metal hydride battery glued right in there. That brown stuff there is the remnants of the glue. I had to hack it out with a saw or something. A couple of little high-tech. And as his thing says, he originally was powered off a 7-cell, 750 milliamp hour nickel metal hydride battery. And I've been powering him off these Wild Scorpion 1100s. I don't remember how that used to hold together. I just hold it on with rubber bands. I'm not sure how it was supposed to hold on before. Let's just see. I see bits of decal. I've got tape over those decals, but even so, bits of decal are coming off. It's sad. Where are we? Battery. 3.87, 3.88. Nah, And what were we down to? God, got like large amounts of decal. It's very sad. I don't want his decals to come off, but I think that's his name was on there. So that's how the wings come off. They just pull right out there. I put tape all over those decals because they were starting to fall off as well. I guess they were water transfer decals, and they don't hold up too well, especially when you're flying them in the wet morning. Okay, there he goes. This is the box for the little Fokker Eindecker. Apparently it's a Graupner kit, it says. I guess that was the power system that came in it. A geared brushed motor and well, that will come in focus. A geared brushed motor and a NIMH battery. But I couldn't. That was still in it when I got him, but I couldn't actually get him to take off with that on. So I ended up putting the brushless motor in it.